Welcome. Jack Smith did another document dump, sort of. He got them redacted and released, partially redacted, and other parts of it are still banned and sealed. But Chutkin, this is their last chance to influence the election. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug Tenaple. You found my channel. I hope you guys will offer up some thumbs up and some comments below. Let's get to the article. Okay, this is over on Politico, and I follow this Kyle Cheney on Twitter. Let me just read this. Trove of Jack Smith's evidence against Trump remains largely shielded from public view after all. But this is what it looks like. The United States District Court for the District of Columbia, United States versus Donald Trump, the defendant. And we're going to go down. These are all blank documents. And I'm just going to give you a small purview of what it's like. The January 6th scenario. Now, these are scenarios that allegedly were presented to Mike Pence. He could try to pull off, and they're saying this is illegal. And so this is released to the public for the first time. This is the January 6th scenario. 7 states have transmitted dual slates of electors to the President of the United States. The 12th Amendment merely provides that, quote, the President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates and the votes shall be counted, unquote. The Electoral Count Act, which is likely unconstitutional, provides, now that's, I believe this could have all been come up by John Eastman, the legal scholar, who's been, they've just destroyed that guy's career. If more than one return or paper purporting to be a return from the state shall have been received by the President of the Senate, those votes and those only shall be counted, which have been regularly given by the electors who are shown by the determination mentioned in Section 5 of this title to have been appointed. It goes on, guys. This is long stuff. So here's the scenario we propose. They're saying this is their big plan. VP Pence, presiding over the joint session, the Senate pro tem Chuck Grassley, if Pence rescues himself, begins to open and count the ballots, starting with Alabama, without conceding that procedure specified by the Electoral Count Act is required. When he gets to Arizona, he announces that he has multiple slates of electors and so is going to defer decision on that until finishing the other states. At the end, he announces that because of the disputes in the 7 states, there are no electors that can be deemed validly appointed in those states. Okay. This is a protective order. It goes on. This is the reprinted, but it has that same scenario spelled out a number of different ways. And it looks like these were emails that they got somewhere from the Trump team that they were passing between each other on the plan back on January 6th on doing alternate electors. Look, this is privileged and confidential, this one. And so I don't know why I'm able to read something that's privileged and confidential. Okay. Thanks, Jack Smith. He released all this. I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm just going to read a paragraph again showing you the plan. The 7 states have transmitted dual slates of electors to the President of the Senate, and the 12th Amendment merely provides that, okay, I already read that part, but it goes down here. There is a very solid legal authority and historical precedent. They're arguing this among each other within the Trump people for the view that the President of the Senate does the counting, including the resolution of disputed electoral votes. And this is in parentheses now, part of their argument, as Adams and Thomas Jefferson did while vice president regarding their own election as president. And all the members of Congress, all they can do is watch. So this is the whole Trump plan that they put together. I think this is a stretch, but people can have a difference of opinion on what they think the Constitution thinks. I know that the tradition obviously is that this does not happen, and we hope it doesn't happen with Kamala Harris, deciding electors as the the head of the Senate. Here's part 2. When he gets to Arizona, he announces that he has multiple slates of electors. We already read that part. Number 3, in the end, he announces that because of the ongoing disputes in the 7 states, there's no electors that can be deemed validly appointed in those states. That means the total of electors appointed, the language of the 12th Amendment, is 454. Anyways, they're going through this scenario one step at a time at how it can work. And the rest of it is all sealed. This is the same plan spelt out in different ways. This is a very long document. What is this? This is 384 pages, guys. And I'm zipping through these. You can see how many of them are sealed and still most that's redacted or sealed that we're not allowed to see. A whole lot of pages of planning. I think they probably got a whole lot of people's emails. Anyways, I'm going to go back to that other article over on Politico just to help navigate this because that's a lot of information to try to digest and it's not really clear, right? Donald Trump's opponents were hoping for more bombshells in Jack Smith's final document dump before the election. On Friday, those hopes fizzled. So this is a huge loss for Jack Smith. That's a great win for Trump. This is spelling out exactly what happened. The U.S. District Judge, Tanya Chutkan, remember, she's the Obama appointee. And so no other judge would have done this, but she unsealed portions of 4 large volumes of the special counsel Jack Smith's evidence against Trump, but most of the materials remained redacted from public view. And the small number of materials that were released on the court docket consisted almost entirely of previously public documents. So why are they making a big deal of this? They're trying to influence the election. Remember, we're like 3 weeks out. They're running out of time. So this is just made to do a little news bump. Trump's lawyers had fiercely protested any release of Jack Smith's evidence, leading some observers to speculate that the documents might contain further damaging revelations about Trump's bid to subvert the 2020 results. But the documents unsealed on Friday were largely already known. Records of Trump's tweets, press releases, elector certificates, and witness transcripts compiled by the House January 6th Select Committee. Smith has used those documents to support his argument that Trump is not immune from the criminal charges he's facing for conspiring to upend the transfer of power. He presented that argument in his 165-page brief unsealed earlier this month. That's the first unsealing they did. This is the second one that laid out his case against the former president in vivid detail. In the materials unsealed Friday, there was one document that previously had not been public, an unredacted excerpt of the January 6th committee interview with Trump's White House valet. So that's supposed to be the big news. The valet told the committee that on the day of the Capitol attack, Trump returned to the White House at around 1:20 p.m. and asked to see footage of his speech to supporters on the ellipse. The valet, who appeared to be reviewing photos of his interaction with Trump, told the committee he informed Trump that coverage of his speech was interrupted by footage of the riot at the Capitol. He's wondering what footage got out, and probably he can't remember exactly what he said when he told people to peacefully walk. He wanted to make sure that he wasn't in trouble there, I'm sure, because he's not in trouble. Quote, "It was, sir, they cut it off because they're rioting down at the Capitol," the valet recalled saying. And he was like, "What do you mean?" So Trump didn't know. And I said, "It's like they're rioting down at the Capitol," unquote. And he was like, "Oh, really?" And then he was like, "All right, let's go see." The valet, who is unnamed in both January 6th committee transcript and the version released by Smith, then described getting Trump a Diet Coke while he watched the speech and the riot footage. That's the gist of that article. My take home on that is this is a bit of a nothing burger for Jack Smith, but you know, the media can run with this and put it in people's hands, and it's made to kind of strengthen the base, you know, the elites that are in charge of everything at the university and online media, where he's giving them fuel saying, see, this is the plan Trump put together, but most of it was already known. So kind of a nothing burger. I think they're just hoping for any kind of a media bump because they're still trying to make the case to the American voter that Trump is unworthy of office. And I believe Raskin, who already said they're going to try to disqualify Trump. That is Raskin. He said it. He goes, we're going to have to, you know, really get personal bodyguards when we tell everyone on January the 6th in 2025 that Trump will be disqualified. Now, I don't know if he can do it. I don't believe he can do it. I don't believe he has the power. I'm not starting a conspiracy. I don't want to start hate on him or anything. I'm only saying that's what they said. And in the same breath, they say that Trump is never going to leave office. He's going to disqualify. He's going to question these results. He's going to overturn the election. Jamie Raskin is more clear about what he just said and saying they're going to disqualify Trump. He said that. Trump's never said he's going to disqualify Kamala Harris or Biden. He never used that strong of a language. So Democrats are guilty. Trump is innocent. This is a loss for Jack Smith, and Trump is still winning. And I couldn't be happier as an American. I'm Doug in exile.